Cheer up, sleepy Jean. Oh, what can it mean to a daydream believer and a homecoming queen?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Secondary Heroes podcast. We continue our watch of Wandavision. It's time for episode 3, our secondary takes. This is your host, Trevor, and joining me as usual is...
Hey guys, it's Prague.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to the Super Bowl. That's right, this is DeLorean Wolfgang.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to slip in some sports in there. I'm sorry, fellas, but I'm very excited. I wish I could be out there, but there's a virus out there. And it's in Florida.
Never mind. Yeah, so WandaVision now in Technicolor. Here we go.
Let's talk Marvel other than sports.
We're in episode 3 now. I think this is kind of the episode that a lot of people were speculating we would probably get more about what was going on, and I think that we kind of did. So it'd be fun to talk about this and see what you guys think, because I do think this is kind of a fun conversation between the three of us. Being people that might not know the comics versus someone who does, versus someone who maybe hasn't seen all the films. It's just good to see everyone's take on this kind of property, because it is a very big swing for Marvel, in my opinion, what they're doing with this show. And it could be a miss, and it could be a home run, or it could be something for everyone. I don't know. We'll dive into that.
Talking sports here.
No, we're talking about WandaVision.
Well, I like that you're saying that there could be a miss, but should we just jump into our spoiler-free?
I think so. It's time. So if this is your first time listening to the Secondary Heroes podcast, welcome. Hopefully you check out Talking episode 1 and 2, so you got an idea of what we're going in with episode 3, but we're going to hit the ground running. We're going to talk all about the episode, what we think, but before we analyze it scene by scene, we want to let people who haven't seen episode 3 yet kind of our thoughts on the episode before we dive in and analyze every single scene and all these little magical little Easter eggs that Marvel has to throw in your face because you're the biggest comic nerd on earth, and this is like, okay. I was going to say something else. We'll stop.
Yeah, because you're editing it, man. You don't want to have to edit yourself. Well, cool. Hey, Prague, you want to go first this week?
Sure, why not?
I went last week. You know what, Trevor? How about you go first?
That's okay. I'll go first.
Prague doesn't want to.
No, it's fine. I'll go first, since I'm probably the only one that likes this show. I thought it was another good episode. I know it's not the greatest thing ever, but it's something that I really enjoy, and I do think that it is still really super niche. I think, to Trevor's point, it is very much a love letter to the comic book readers and not necessarily something for the greater MCU. I think it can develop into that, but I think that this episode really kind of was very specific towards the comic book fans. So I think that it's a bit 50-50. So I enjoyed the episode a lot. I think it's my favorite of the 3 so far. And I think it is going to turn into something that I like. It's that kind of that Twilight Zone, Twin Peaksy kind of vibe that I like. So I liked it. That was my take. I really liked it.
I'm kind of surprised by that. I'm surprised by that answer. But then again, you know a little bit more about the backstory. Myself, you said you could either hit a home run, or swing and miss. And for me, this was a big fat miss. Oh, what a whiff. I felt the breeze all the way over here, man, because it was bad. I was so bored out of my mind. I was like, why am I watching this? If I want to watch The Partridge Family, I'll watch The Partridge Family. If I want to watch, what's the other one? Brady Bunch? I'll watch the Brady Bunch, because this is exactly what it was. It was just an episode of Brady Bunch or Partridge Family. More on the lines of Partridge Family. But I personally did not find enjoyment out of this episode at all. They're still hamming it up too much, and they're not sprinkling in enough of the scenes that kind of will take us into that next step. Because right now we're still in this we're still goofy and fun. I mean, yeah, like I said, there was a couple pieces in there that kept it a little interesting, but I'm ready for those pieces to become the story. I'm done with the silliness.
Gotcha. All right, Trevor.
So
That's
for
fair.
me, I see where Alex is coming from, and I think my main problem with it is that it almost feels formulaic at this point. Oh, look, it's fun TV show homage, and then at the end, here's some big thing overarching. And that's cool when you have a 2-hour movie with character development and you're like, oh, look, there's Thor's hammer. That means Thor's coming. But in a 30-minute show, it's even less than 30 minutes, and you'll get 1 minute of teaser for overarching thing when you only have 9 episodes to work with. It just gets discouraging. Like episode 1, I'm like, okay, this is this is a fun idea, this is different. Episode 2, I'm like, okay, we're more of the same, but it's a fun thing. And then by episode 3, I'm like, I got it. I understand what you guys are doing.
Yes, exactly. It's doing exactly. And you said it last week when you hit episode 2. You were like, okay, we've been here before. We've already done this. And now episode 3, it's almost the same thing again.
I mean, is episode 4 going to be 80s, and then episode 5 going to be the 90s, and then episode 6 we're going to have like a 2000s, and then maybe by episode 7 it gets into the 2010s actual show. My biggest problem though is that
it will, by the way.
Yeah, seriously?
Have you not seen the previews? Okay.
This is what
No, I don't watch trailers.
Oh.
Wait, there was a trailer? I haven't seen the trailer for next week.
Oh no, there's a trailer for the whole series that came out about a year ago. So,
okay.
No, but the biggest thing is that it's about Wanda and Vision. And there's been 23 MCU movies. There might even be 24. I don't know which one Spider-Man is, but 23 movies, and Wanda and Vision probably have gotten 20 minutes of screen time total across 23 films. And so you'd think a show with them as the title characters, you would get some kind of character development, because we really haven't gotten character development for them in the MCU. So a standalone show, it would give them time, because I think Falcon the Winter Soldier is going to be beat by beat a superhero thing that we expect, and it's going to develop Falcon into kind of taking over the Cap title. But this isn't that show. I understand that, but you still have 9 episodes where you want to develop Wanda and Vision into more than you can't develop them when you're doing homage to shows in the past. It's just impossible, because you're focused so much on creating that storyline. And oh, look at these goofy fun scenes, and Vision is investigating things, and Wanda's trying to keep things secret. It's not character development at all. I want to know more about Wanda and Vision, because this is such an homage to comic. Oh, these characters are so great in the comics. Well, if you haven't read the comics, they're not great characters. They're really unknown characters. They're complete enigmas. And this show has not developed those enigmas at all. It's just played around. Those could be character A and character B as far as they mean to people who've never read the comics.
Exactly. Yeah. They could have put Iron Man and Pepper Potts in this same situation, and it would be, for me, it would still fall flat. It would still be boring.
Yeah, your criticisms are kind of the same criticisms I have. I just don't hate them as much as you two do.
I don't necessarily hate it. It just, I felt like Alex, where I was bored.
Sound like you guys hate it.
No, when the show was over, I'm like, I didn't really remember anything.
Right, there was nothing that was.
I don't even have Wonder Woman was horrible. It was so bad it annoyed me. But this show, it's just kind of there. It's like, okay, no, there was some fun laughs along the way. I liked what they're doing with the set design and all that. It's really spot on for the period piece, and then it's over, and I don't really think about it again.
Yeah, and I do think that that is its major error, is that it's almost as if the creators of the show were so excited that they got to recreate their favorite shows that they watched growing up. They're like, oh my gosh, I get to recreate my favorite show and my favorite, gags that were on those shows, that they had they spent too much time doing that on the show. Because I do agree with you guys. I think they could have condensed this down to maybe 6 episodes and not have had to do so many individual episodes for every era. I think what happened was somebody, I don't know if it was, Disney or if the actual showrunner decided to do it that way, but I bet you they went, why don't we just do it decade by decade to make it longer and have this series go on longer than it probably needed to be? Because it could have been a 2.5-hour movie. It could have been a 4 to 6 episode arc. I don't know.
Well,
so that is a complaint that I hear.
Yeah, and and here's the thing, it wasn't so much the show. It was more on the line. Maybe it was just because it is going through the decades. The 70s for me was probably one of the worst decades for TV. I hated the Brady Bunch. I hated Partridge Family, and I'm sorry to listeners out there who love.
I didn't roll my eyes.
I personally don't enjoy that stuff. So seeing it recreated, really does nothing for me. And that could be why I didn't like this episode, because it felt like those type of shows.
Sure. No, that makes sense. I mean, if that's something
It's
that
just
you're not interested in, it makes sense.
they get so lost in the homage to the past. They're expertly doing that. It's some of
Right.
the best homages to the past I've ever seen. Like whoever does the sets and the costume design and went frame by frame to analyze the past to change the way you're going to shoot these things to actually look like they're straight out of that period, that's amazingly done. But I think the problem is this isn't a standalone show on Netflix that homage to shows of the past. This has that big Marvel flipping letters at the start. It has a pedigree of 23 films where people are like, okay, this is some big top tier blockbuster stuff.
Yes. See,
Noted.
that's what I'm expecting too. Yeah, I'm
Sure.
expecting the big Marvel. I want to be marveled by Marvel.
Yeah,
And
I think that at this point, if our listeners are listening to this and they haven't watched WandaVision for some reason, they're listening to this podcast, I really don't know if I would recommend this show to anyone that isn't familiar with the comics, period. Like, I've talked to so many people, and the only people that I know that actually do like this show are the people that have read the comics. I don't know anybody that likes this show that
But
hasn't read
even
it.
if you haven't, say you have read the comics, there's still no real story development or character development as just a standalone show. Like
Right,
it's
there-
great
there-
to
there is
have
a-
those Easter eggs and connections to the comics, but that means you're piecing those stories that you know from the comics onto what they're showing you. They're not giving you anything itself. It's not playing out
Yeah.
what happens in the comics per se.
It's almost as if they're having the viewer do the legwork for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a fair point. I do see that, and that is one of my major complaints about the show. Even though I do enjoy the show a lot, I do think it suffers from that. So,
So
fairly
spoiler free.
noted.
Wow. Well, before we
Juicy.
do jump in to spoilers, and before I
Yes.
jump into social as well, I did want to say that the good parts about it, and you touched on it, Trevor. You mentioned the sets and the design and everything like that. I want to piggyback off that because there were scenes that I was watching this thing and I'm like, wow, that's actually really cool. Like where he's standing outside and you see the turf, you see that they have a fake background where it's like it's a painting of a neighborhood. Like it's not even like a photorealistic photo back there. It's just
Yes,
a
a
painting.
matte painting like they had back in the
that-
day. Yeah.
Exactly. And to me, that was probably like the coolest part is looking at the background and looking at the set designs and looking at the wardrobe. That was cool. But yeah, again, anyways, but at this point now, hey, we're going to jump into some socials. If you haven't already, please follow us over on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Secondary Heroes. We're on YouTube right now, so you can actually see our faces as we're doing these reviews, which is a ton of fun. Actually, I'm noticing that YouTube is actually doing great. I love our YouTube stuff. And then and make sure to please go over to iTunes and rate and review our podcast because it actually will bring more viewers and bring more listeners to us because all of this is free for you and it's priceless to us. Now, let's get into some spoilers, baby.
All right,
Awesome.
let's do it.
So the one part I do want to start, I forgot to mention it last week, is it has been since July 2019 with Spider-Man Far From Home where we've actually seen new content with the letters flipping and all the scenes and stuff. And that's just awesome, regardless of whatever is included that follows it. It's been a
Yeah.
long time.
It has. It's a lot of fun. The fanfare and everything that goes with it.
Marvel.
Yes, it is marvelous.
So-
Marvel.
We get that Marvel intro, and then we transition quickly into that 70s TV show intro with the fun little song 1+1 is family, and we get to have all these little pregnancy jokes and fun little scenes.
Wandavision.
Yeah,
In
it's a nice little
color.
Partridge Family opening there. That was fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I really
and
enjoyed it, I should say.
they really hammed that up too. I mean,
Yeah,
putting that
great.
wig on God, Vision, it looked so goofy, but it fits the time, fits the era.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed getting a new intro every week. I know not many people do, but I do. So
I do too.
Anyway.
But all in all, like I said before, it was the 70s, and it made my eyes roll so hard. I'm like, great.
I know. I love
I think
Partridge
the intro
Family.
and the
so-
outro were the best parts. Everything in between that in the show, I
You
could have
didn't even
tossed
need
it.
all the, yeah, you didn't even need all the in-between stuff. That was the fun part.
Yeah.
Sorry, but you know what? Let's actually get into that in-between stuff.
Speaking of eye rolls, okay.
And so the doctor comes, and the doctor has to have a bunch of sexist jokes and time period jokes. And first, he starts off by saying he analyzes her up and down. He says, "Yes, you're pregnant." Oh, she's like showing, and she's like 6 months pregnant.
She's got a giant belly.
That was one of the better jokes of the episode. That was good.
Well,
And then,
well, he Vision asks him, you know, how old would you, or how long does this look like? And he says it's about 4 months. And I'm like, man, that's what, I don't feel like my wife was showing like that at 4 months. Like that was some heavy duty, that looked like 6 to 8 months to me, until she finally does get that 6 to 8 months, but whatever.
Okay. No
Hey,
doubt.
I'm bringing in my experience, folks.
I like it. No, it's very
makes
good.
sense. And so then he also says that to make it easy with ladies on the pregnancy development, you know, to dumb it down for them, he compares the size to fruits.
Yep.
That was great stuff.
Which
Yep.
still happens today. They still do fruit sizes.
Oh, very
Yes.
nice.
Yep,
That's
Proud
kiwis,
papaya.
and mangoes, and papayas.
Oh,
all
shout
kinds
out to the fruit sizes. So do you guys remember that Game Show HQ, that app where you could play?
of-
And
No,
like live thing. You didn't play the live game show where it's like trivia, there's 12 questions, and if you answer all 12 you win money, and it's split the prize, and it's live online on the app.
What?
That does
No.
sound familiar.
Oh, the company went
Huh.
to like huge heights. They got like 5 million simultaneous viewers, and then they went out of
Yeah, I
business
think I
all
do
in the
remember
span of
this.
like 2 years.
Yeah.
anyway,
That around that long. All right.
The first time that I went to go try to win, the last question was, what is the size of a fetus at 3 months or like 4 months? I don't remember the months, but it was like
Okay.
strawberry, avocado, or papaya or whatever. And it was
would say
strawberry, but I guessed
Oh,
avocado because I have avocado trees in the front yard. And
Aw,
I
oh my
lost
god.
because I had no idea. I don't know anything about fetus sizes at different months.
California. All right.
I need
That's
an
a fun
avocado
aside.
tree.
That was fun.
I'm sorry you
Yeah,
lost.
but it was very apropos of the time, as
Yes.
Trevor mentioned. That joke was also very apropos for the '70s style sitcom. Like, oh, ha 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 ha, like what? Yeah,
Yeah.
that was just the way humor was back then. Like really, really bad.
Well, and let's just jump backwards really fast. When we do get introduced into this new episode, they're in a brand new house. This is a totally different house than it was in the first episode. Like
Mhm.
this is a full on, like it's total set change, which was jarring for a second, and then you're just pretty much just whatever. They don't even really bring it up at all. It's just okay, now they have a new home.
Yeah.
Spot on 70s architecture too. That
Yeah.
house
Oh
is
yeah.
straight out of the 70s, and every single aspect that they put into the
Oh, I would know.
flooring and
Yeah.
the wardrobe and all the different appliances, everything was great.
Like that show, that 70s show, it
Like that
looked
show.
very similar to that house.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
And so then the Vision says that he has nerves of steel. Ha.
I
I mean, he did say proud papaya too, so
Yep.
there's
That
that.
was That was great.
Oh god. See,
But
two
this is
jokes that made me roll my eyes.
This is the first time that Vision becomes suspicious. So this is when he starts questioning the timeline of Wanda's pregnancy and how quickly it's developing. And so this is the first time where he's kind of been aware of how weird things are. And this manifests itself more and more as the episode goes on.
Well, is this
Which
the
is-
point where he actually does like stop everything and says, "I think something's wrong here, Wanda"? Is this
No,
the
that's
part?
later.
That
No,
is
that's
later?
on
Okay.
the episode. Yeah, we'll get to that.
Okay, sorry.
But yeah, he does start to get suspicious. I'll have to touch on that later too, because it's interesting.
And
Well,
so
he's getting
fun-
suspicious for good reason, because 12 hours ago his wife wasn't even pregnant, and now she's 4 months into it. 4 months into it. Let me do my rabbit ears.
The one thing I did make a note of, Prague, does 2800 number mean anything, or is that just
Yes, I
random
have it in
numbers?
my notes, by the way, because
Okay.
it was pretty prominent this episode. I
Mhm.
didn't go back to the first two to see if it was on their front door in those two episodes, but yeah, it's right there in your face for like a couple of scenes. Yes, I think it's finally confirming that this is taking place in Earth 2800, because there's multiverses in the Marvel universe, 616 being the most prominent one for many years. So that does confirm that at least this takes place in that universe. So that might be a hint that we are going to see the multiverse expand because of Wanda, possibly. So I don't know.
I'm sorry, you might need to expand into that. I have no idea what you just said. We're living in Earth 616 now, and they're in
Well, the
Earth...
main Marvel comics, or at least when they started, is Earth 616.
Yeah. So over time, basically a good plot device for an ongoing comic series is to create multiverses so that you can keep telling this like different stories with the same characters without continuity errors and issues. So you'd be like, oh, I want to keep telling stories about Wanda, but I want to have her do this instead. Okay, we're gonna split off reality and we're gonna have, her be in this other reality where she is whatever, if that makes sense. Because
it's a fun way to
remember,
kill all
it's
your
been going on for
characters
decades. Oh yeah,
and
it's
not
epic. Kill them all,
impact
it's
your
epic,
original
right?
characters. Yeah.
Right. But then you can go back to a different, era and be like, oh no, they're still alive. They're fine. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So all these universes are numbered, so they'll have different numbers if you want to like keep track of them. If you're reading comics and you're really nerdy like me. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah. No, I wouldn't even had caught on to that at all. I would have never even noticed. So this is why I'm glad that I do this every week with you guys, because I get to learn a little bit.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So where do we go from here?
So here, Vision goes outside, and Herb's doing the hedges, and this is when he starts cutting through the wall itself, and this adds to the what exactly is going on peculiarness that Vision is starting to rack up.
Yeah, I think at this point I was trying to figure out if he was glitching or if he was like glitching because he was trapped there. Was he someone that voluntarily went into her reality? I'm still trying to piece up together who is knowledgeable of the fact that they're under the spell that she's casting and who isn't.
Mhm.
So Herb is kind of still on the fence for me. I'm not too sure, but that seems
on the fence.
Oh, because he was cutting the fence.
Yeah, at least he wasn't cutting the cheese. I keep wanting to call him Herb, but it's Herb.
Herb.
Heart H. Herb. Yes.
Now he's a new character. He was not in the first two episodes, right?
Oh, he was.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Oh wait,
he was at
in
the
like
neighborhood watch.
The neighborhood watch.
Remember
But
he likes to masticate? Yeah.
Yeah,
remember that joke from the second episode?
Who doesn't like a good masticating joke?
Exactly. All right, what's next?
And so now he comes back in, and Wanda's belly is expanded even more, and he says something along the lines of super speed. And if you know anything about Wanda, she knows somebody who's has super speed, and he actually gets brought up later in the episode. But this is also when they come up with potential names, and so Wanda wants Tommy, and Vision wants Billy, and so this is the first hint of potential names, and those names might be even more relevant as we go in this episode. But he also does the calculus to figure out that based on the current trajectory and the anomalies that have happened, she should be due by Friday.
Yes. And another important thing that happened in this scene is that she made all the butterflies come to life on the little mobile and fly away. Once again, another hint at she can create life just by thinking about it. Not just by having the birds and the bees with her husband. She can actually just create life. Yeah. So there's another nod to that. Just with her mind. She wasn't even trying. It just happened. That's how powerful she can be. It kind of hints at that there. So. Fun, Wanda.
I feel like magicians can do that too. So you're not hitting me with some hard-hitting stuff.
Flourish. Yeah. Anyways,
that's right. They had a whole magician episode last episode. God, man, that's how forgettable this is. We got to do how many more of these? No, please, come on, let's continue on.
And so,
I mean, I can watch the show, and you guys don't have to.
No. This is great. This is great.
All right, okay.
so now Wanda starts having contractions, and the kitchen goes haywire because this is when her magic is kind of on the fritz because she doesn't have full control of it. And this actually expands beyond their house. The whole power goes out. And this has that fun joke where the wife comes out and she says, "Do these earrings make me look fat?" And then the power goes out and the guy's like, "Oh, thank God."
Thank God.
I was expecting him to say, "No, it's your face that makes you look fat."
Oh, dang.
I'm just kidding. Oh, good
But
joke.
yes, they're also in the dark. I don't know. That was kind of a throwaway, but maybe there's in the dark to the whole thing.
So okay, so the power goes out. The reason why the power goes out is because she's having
About to give birth. She's having
Right.
contractions. It's affecting reality. It's affecting
she's
this.
having the fake contractions, the Braxton Hicks.
Yes. But still, it's affecting her ability. So basically, the idea or the thought is that even though she kind of manifested this whole ordeal, she is really having babies. So it's affecting her physically as well as mentally. So every time something physically does happen to her, it's affecting this reality she created, is what it's demonstrating to us. So that's why everything went haywire.
Oop, there goes reality.
Heck yeah.
And
All right, what's
speaking
next?
of reality, this is when Vision really starts to question reality. And this is what Alex was pointing at earlier. And
Yes.
now this is when Wanda restarts time and just has this conversation completely over again. Like Vision is like, "Have you noticed weird stuff going on?" She's like, "Nope, we're not doing this."
So, okay, this is where I was kind of confused. Was it Wanda who actually changed it? Because last time when something happened
It's
to where
always
she was
Wanda.
able to
It's
well, last time she said no, and we got the rewind. This time it was just like she looked at him, and then it was almost like a glitch, and he just repeated the same line again. So,
It's
I
'cause
didn't
it's
know
the
if
70s
maybe-
now.
well, I get. So, my question is though, is that's not the outside interference kind of saying, or the outside, watchers maybe correcting things?
no.
You don't
The
think-
outsiders are just watchers, okay? They
Yeah.
have no way to control what Wanda can do.
No,
I'm just letting you
that's
know.
why. Yeah, that's why I'm thinking they have spies on the inside that are
Well,
trapped.
Well, that's the one woman who comes.
Right.
Anyways,
Well, we'll talk about that, but no,
We'll
I
get
do
to
not. Yeah, 100% no. It is
Okay.
not the outside
Hey,
people.
no, just it glitches out because it's the 70s rather than the 50s, or the 60s. Last time it was the rewind effect because it was older. So now it's more they can just kind of cut the tape and just resplice it.
Yep.
gotcha.
That's the only difference. But Wanda still resets time right here and just goes through that conversation again, and Vision's all good. But now we get to the point where her water broke, and because her water broke, the sprinklers go off in the town or in their house because it's funny. And I wrote "not funny" in parentheses because it wasn't.
It's supposed to be metaphorical. It's the fact that they're all kind
Too
of living
obviously
together.
metaphorical.
Yeah, maybe, but that's what comic books are. If you've read comic books, so you either like it or you don't. You don't like it, that's fine. I thought it was fantastic. It was good. It was a good job by the producers on that one. All right, so next move.
So that's when the Vision starts getting airborne because he's freaking out that
was
that's
funny.
happening. And they do
Yes.
the little breathing exercise so he can come
Funny
back
to
down.
me apparently, and no one else. But yes, I enjoyed that part because he forgot to breathe, so he left it up off the ground. It was great. It's a great sight gag.
I mean,
I know you guys hate it. I know.
They're not great
I don't-
gags. It's just tired.
I feel bad. I almost feel bad, Prague, because I can see how much you're enjoying this. I can see how much you like
I think it's
love
really
what you're
fun.
seeing on the
It's
screen.
not like it's like, oh my god, the greatest thing ever. But my god, you don't have to be, cranky old men like me about it.
But I'm not
Wait,
being a cranky old man.
old
I
man.
am the most open person you know. I watch stuff and I zone out and I go, I will enjoy a freaking Transformers movie, dude. Like, I'll enjoy most of these movies, but when he's right. These jokes are tired and old and boring.
All
But
right.
I feel bad because I don't want to be beaten up on something that you like
okay.
so much.
No,
It's
it's
like
just
you
it's
beat up
because
on it. It's a
they're
bad
essentially
it's a bad TV
manifested
show's
puns,
terrible.
and that's where Prague
I
lives.
love
So
puns. I know. I like that. That's why I love all
Okay.
these shows from Nick at Night. I loved watching these shows back then. It was great and it was fun to relive them. So
Okay, so you're
for
not
those of
mad at
us
me.
who are older, no, I'm not mad at you.
Okay.
You're wrong, but I'm not mad at you. So let's continue.
well, it's definitely not a wrong or right thing. It's just opinion, and that's fine. So commercial break.
Joking with you. Yeah.
You need a break? Get Hydro Soak. Find your inner goddess.
Hydro Soak. Where have we heard that before?
And it
I know you
had
guys have
the
watched Agents of
logo
S.H.I.E.L.D.
all over it.
Yeah,
I
so
watched one episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That WandaVision is probably the best show of all time if you base it on Agents of
Yeah.
S.H.I.E.L.D. So
okay, fair point. But yes, in a season, well, actually one episode during a season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they go into what's called the framework, which is fairly similar to what we're experiencing here. And Agent Coulson does mention Hydra Soap, which is a mind-controlling soap. So mind control, soap, Hydra, yeah. There's a reference, I think, to that probably. And of course, the goddess within, and how WandaVision might be a goddess because of her powers. So a fun little commercial. I enjoyed it.
I wanted to ask, were these the same two characters from the
Yeah.
other one?
They will
Okay.
always be the same too in every commercial, probably, is my guess.
Well, and I made it a point to like look at them and look in their eyes and go, okay, I gotta remember you. I'm gonna see you again.
Hydra agents. I see you there. Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Let's.
Yep. Commercial's over.
Yes.
commercial's over, and now Geraldine comes to visit, and we don't know Geraldine. She is actually someone who was not in the first two episodes. And
Wait,
so,
what? Hold on. She wasn't? I could have swore she was. Who was she talking to at the magic show?
I forget who her name was. I have no idea.
That was the same woman at the magic show, wasn't it? She was an assistant.
I thought that was a different actor, but
It was
if
a
it's
yeah, I
not,
thought it was a different actress.
unless she's a great actress, yeah, it could be. 'Cause that
I
was a very
just thought
different
she had a
person.
different hairstyle because it was the
Her
70s.
face looked different.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
pretty sure
thi-
it's a different person.
All right.
Maybe not. I don't know. We'll
I don't know.
have to IMBD that.
I'm doing that right now, so please continue on.
Yeah, so this
Okay.
whole sequence is hiding the baby bump, no matter what it is. Like the magic is going haywire. The actual Stork appears and it's walking around, and she's like shoo, and she tries to get rid of it, and the stork doesn't care.
Extremely important, but we'll talk about that here in a second.
And then
So
she has the vase. She drops the vase. Geraldine finally sees that she's pregnant, and it's this whole sequence. I mean,
So what's fun
oh
about
my god!
the sequence is that it's a nod to every time an actor or an actress has been pregnant on set and they've had to cleverly like hide their baby bump. It's like a whole nod to all the actresses that have had to do this on TV over the years. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. It was like, maybe this is really just an insider's kind of show for like people who like just know television and comics inside out and know to look for those things. I don't know.
What
but
if
I
you
really
do know
enjoyed
those things and you just it doesn't
care.
matter or have any relevance to a show
I don't
about
know why
Wanda's greater
people
scope of
watching this
Marvel?
show that don't. I don't know. No idea. I can't tell you. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun little gag. I don't know. I enjoy things. I'm sorry.
I don't know. The stork walked around for like 10 minutes of the episode, and I'm wanting them to dive into her damn mind and psyche and say, oh, look, stork. Oh.
So to jump
All right,
back, Geraldine
anyways, I'm
was
just not
the
going to
same
mention
character.
anything from here on out. Let's go and talk about the rest of the episode.
Sorry, so Geraldine was the same girl in the first episode, or the
Nice.
Yeah.
She's a good actress. That
Yeah.
was fantastic.
yeah, she
Very
was the
nice.
same girl. So pretty cool stuff, man.
Yeah,
She's
she did a
great.
great job.
She's
That
great.
was-
She's one of my favorite parts of the entire show. She
Yeah.
lights up the screen every time that I see her on the screen. I'm like, yes, I want more of her.
Nice. There you
That's
go.
weird because she's not suspicious at all in episode 2.
No. Well, she does have that one line where she doesn't know why she's there. She says that.
Oh
That's
yeah,
all
where
she
she
says, that she hints
she
at
comes out
anything.
of the magic box and
No, I'm talking about the party. So they have like this little party with Dottie, and she goes, "Yeah, I'm not too sure
I don't
why
know
I'm
why
here.
I'm here either. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm here either." Like,
Oh.
yeah. I just didn't realize the same actress because, like, yeah, her performances were so different between the 2
Mhm.
episodes. So it's pretty impressive. So cool, because we're gonna be seeing a lot more of her in the future Marvel shows and movies.
Really? That's cool because I like her.
There you go. And
Excellent.
that's
Well,
all I'll
that's
say about
good.
that for now.
Thank you for the insight.
And so
Mhm.
now we have the back-to-back 70s trope. First, that all women know how to deliver a baby. So as soon as Wanda actually goes into contractions, Geraldine's ready. She knows exactly everything to do. No panic whatsoever. And it just takes one push to get a baby out. To any women in our audience who have given birth, we do know how easy that is. And one
Right.
boom, out.
Yep.
As I'm watching it, I would look to. I'm like talking to myself, like, "Oh, that was easy."
That was easy. Well, that's classic. That's a classic
That's classic
70s
TV
sitcom
sitcom
kind of
stuff.
thing. You know, yeah.
Oh,
The baby
well.
comes out and it's like already has a full head of hair and everything, and it's all clean. It's like,
This baby
okay.
was old. This baby looked like it was 3 months old when it was born.
Yeah, it was like, okay.
Pretty much smoking a
It's been out for a
cigar.
while.
Because what episode did we talk about how, the shows were making it so like they used preemie babies so they looked super authentic when they came
Oh,
out?
yes.
That was our babies episode.
Yeah, it was. I remember talking about that, like Children of Men, how they did an actual live birth during that
Yeah.
movie.
Oh,
Yeah, they
And
didn't
you
do
go
that
back
in the
to these old
70s
70s shows, they're like,
sitcoms.
whatever, man.
No.
This
I don't
kid's
think
like
you-
5. It's close enough.
It's like, Mama! Like, what? But that was a fun little scene, watching the set kind of go haywire, and watching Geraldine run through the house, like going, "What the heck is happening here? I'm just gonna know that now."
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
things
did
spinning
like
around.
that line. Yeah.
And
This,
the fireplace erupting, which I will talk about later. Yeah, it was kind of
Ooh.
fun scene.
I'm almost more interested in what you have to say now.
No, you guys keep steamrolling over all the stuff. So I'll
No,
talk.
I actually kind of enjoyed that part.
No,
where
no, I have a big recap for the end of this episode, because I don't want to derail the whole show.
Whoa! It is hailing outside right now.
Oh, I can hear that. Oh my gosh.
That is wild, dude. Okay, sorry. Maybe it's Wanda having another baby.
That, or she's just really constipated and flopping out little. Anyways,
Wow.
let's continue on with the episode. So she delivers baby number 1.
And there's our line for the week.
And so then Vision runs all the way back, and he goes and runs and gets the doctor, and then he runs really fast all the way back, and the doctor makes a few jokes about how that was so fast, and Vision misses the first baby, and he complains. But luckily, there's another baby coming.
She's having twins.
I thought that was a fun little moment, because I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I know they're going to be twins, and I'm waiting for it. I'm like, how are they going to do this? And then she screams in his face, and I thought that was kind of funny.
I
I
did
thought that
have
was a good.
screaming.
What was that?
I like the screaming in
Yeah,
each
it was
other's.
fun. I wonder how many people knew that they were going to have twins, though, because I know they kind of showed that in the trailer, but if you didn't watch the trailer, I wonder if people got that hint beforehand.
So that's the funny thing. For some reason, in the back of my head, I'm like, she's gonna have twins.
Okay.
Like I know nothing about these characters or anything like that, but I sit there and yeah, twins.
Well,
I
she's also a twin herself.
I didn't ruin that. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways.
But it happens. And fun thing is that they have baby clothes already ready on them. Like pretty much when they come out of the womb, they're fully clothed. It's really
That's how it
great.
happens, right, Alex?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
Nice.
But then again, you know what? My wife had a C-section, so the clothes comes when the vaginal birth. Yeah, the clothes come out through there. If you do a C-section, babies are naked, dude. It's weird.
Yeah, because the clothes are
Okay.
waiting on the exit. It's kind
That's
of
right.
like, you put it through a bag. Yeah, it's the same.
Right.
Yeah, and you just fit it right through. It's science, people. Okay, this is science that we're spitting here.
I mean, you have 9 months. Of course, some like clothes are going to develop too.
What do you think they're doing in there? They're knitting.
Yes, of course.
Oh,
So
God.
yes, we have twins. The twins are here. They have
And
arrived.
so we have a few fun things. First, the doctor says small town, it's so hard to escape, which is funny because Wanda's from a small town and it's the whole thing. But then she also says, I'm a twin, because Geraldine congratulates her about having twins. And then she brings up Pietro herself. So Geraldine then latches on to this idea that Wanda actually went so far as to say that she had a twin and that he was killed by Ultron.
Right.
That's what
This is
Geraldine
her-
said.
Geraldine says he was killed by Ultron, wasn't he?
Right.
Because she goes into her whole lullaby, which is back from when she grew up.
Right. So this, to me, what this says is that this is Geraldine's like moment. She's like, oh, this is it. She finally is recognizing reality. Let me see if I can snap her out of this by mentioning that. And that was a bad move.
Yeah,
she
so
thought that was
this
her
is getting
end.
yeah, this is getting tense inside between Geraldine and Wanda, and Vision is outside, and he's talking to Herb and the nosy neighbor, which what's her name?
Agnes.
It is. It's generically, classically sitcom Agnes.
Yes.
Okay, good to know. So
Yeah.
Herb and Agnes are talking, and then this is where Vision starts really questioning on the whole thing, because Herb is like, she came here because,
He's
he's
not
trying to
saying
get
why,
it out. He's adding like one word each time, and then finally Agnes cuts him off, and they have to go, and everybody goes inside, and Vision is just left wondering what is going on.
Dude,
Yeah,
this
so
drove me nuts.
What part about it drove you nuts?
It drove me nuts. I'm
The
like,
tease?
just say it. Because I know if he just says something like that's going to open up the world, I wanted the world to be opened up. I'm sick of staying in these sitcom
They have
worlds.
to drag this out for 9 episodes, Alex.
I know, but dude, you've
But
got
I think there's something else with this scene going on here. Because if you notice, Agnes turns to him and says, not
No,
yet.
yeah, exactly. She's stopping him as if she
Here,
knows as well.
I think that there are multiple factions at play within her own reality working against each other. That's what's
Right,
happening.
because so Vision is not part of any of the factions. He's the interesting enigma in this whole thing, because literally Wanda brought him back from the dead. And so we know that he's a robot and he can figure out all of the crazy stuff that's going on. And there's these things that don't compute logically. And so he's having a tough time getting to that.
Right.
But then this gets into Prog's idea. He doesn't know, is Herb actually being mind controlled by Wanda, or is he agent specific? Like Geraldine is an agent specifically
we
trying
find
to get
that
to
out.
Wanda. Yeah, that's what Geraldine reveals herself in that sequence. And then I'd still know, like, Agnes is obviously different than Geraldine, because Agnes and her both mentioned that Geraldine's different. She doesn't live here.
Yeah. She's different. She doesn't live here.
Oh, she doesn't have a home.
Yeah, she doesn't have a home.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She doesn't come from a house. She doesn't come over from a house. No, she's just happens to be there. That's weird,
So
Yeah, so they extracted more intrigue from, like, I think the first episode maybe had like 30 seconds of intrigue, and then the second episode had like a minute, and then this one I say was 2 minutes. They're expanding out how long that in sequence is, where it breaks out of the sitcom that it's trying to do.
Yeah, I've been noticing that as well. That they're kind of expanding that near the end of each episode, and they'll probably do that, which I know will be annoying. I mean, it even kind of annoys me to an extent. I kind of wish they would sprinkle that out through the episode rather than wait for the end. But
The
still, it
formulaic
is
nature of it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it's maybe they thought, oh, we should make this show formulaic because it's based on stuff that was formulaic.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'm sure there was some decision behind that. I don't think that was the right decision, obviously, because there is a lot of pushback against this show. It's not just you guys. I see it everywhere.
That's funny. I'm actually seeing the opposite on social media. I'm seeing so much praise for, like, for instance, this episode alone. People were praising this episode.
No, you'll see some of the bigger names kind of praising it. People who have read the comics or something or kind of know stuff, they might praise it. But I think that you're going to see some people that are not in the know, and they'll be like, "This is frustrating." Like, we don't have the backstory. Don't have us fill in stuff that we don't have information for. Tell us.
Right.
I think that's where they're kind of losing people. They kind of went too deep, in my opinion, with all of the Easter eggs and hints and stuff that I'm going to talk about at the end of this episode to help.
I mean, we
kind of fill
talked
in some
about that in that
details, but-
spoiler-free section.
Yeah.
Well, like,
So
I do like the idea of the intrigue, though. Maybe at the 15-minute mark, we put in some greater scope of the thing. rather than waiting until the 25-minute mark, just to change things up. Like, I understand there's the whole formulaic idea. Sitcoms that have like overarching storylines, they always wait till the end. That's always just how it's been. And so I see that appeal of it, but I still wish. The cool thing about the MCU movies is that you didn't have to read the comics. They actually they take elements, but they don't. Here's the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, beat by beat, that we've made live action. You know what I mean? They created a story. They created a whole narrative in a world, and they zig and zag a little bit. This one hasn't created a story yet. I'm hopeful. Prague makes me super intrigued by the possibilities all the time. I'm
every time I talk to Prague, I feel
that it's going to be there.
And the thing is, I have a bad feeling that whatever that is, whatever they end up with, isn't going to happen until the very last episode.
And I still don't think it would be as bad if I watched all 9 episodes together. I think this week by week thing is driving me crazy, but that's personal, and I don't usually do that, so I can't blame the showrunners for that. No,
I do agree with you. I think this would have benefited from being dumped at once. I just do. As I said, I think it should have been shorter, and it should have been, I don't know, either a movie or dumped at once. I think having to wait week after week is kind of not enough for the intrigue that they're creating. They're not creating big enough intrigue, in my opinion, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Especially because a lot that we talked about from the last episode, Prague, I was excited about that I didn't gather from the show. You know, it's stuff you're extrapolating off on your own opinions and knowledge and stuff. It's not necessarily what the show is showing us. And that got me excited. Sure. And that's what makes it tough. Like, if you say I was watching it and I didn't know you, or I'm a random person who doesn't have that kind of access, you're kind of discouraged at this point.
Oh, sure. Yes. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm seeing out there. Like, I'm actually seeing people that don't have that access, that are kind of like, what is happening? I don't quite understand this. Or I don't like just reliving sitcoms. I'll just turn on, like you said, I'll just turn on I Love Lucy instead. Like, why am I watching this? So I do think they're kind of failing a big part of the audience with this series by not doing that, by not build, like I think, Trevor, you mentioned, like, fleshing out these characters, like really create character development. And I don't think they're really doing that with the show, because they're kind of hindered by the fact that everyone's trapped in her fake reality, right? So they're kind of trapped to not have a development of any kind.
Because these past shows didn't have like, that's probably the biggest thing since around Sopranos came out, is that shows now develop side characters. So it's not just the main characters. All these old shows, we have our main family, our main couple, our main characters, and the side characters are there to accent them. And so in this show, they're based on that. So they're bound by the laws of the past, of what simple creation was in the past.
There you go. Yeah. Anyways, that was a fun little sidebar.
Yeah. So Geraldine has the sword symbol as a necklace, and this time Wanda actually brings it up. You know, she's seen it, she's been disturbed by it, but now she actually mentions it specifically. What is that symbol on your neck? And then so we're still transitioning back and forth between Vision and his question marks, and then Wanda's getting progressively angrier and angrier at Geraldine, and then finally we transition to the aspect ratio from the old 4:3 to letterbox, and we go to modern looking, more like an MCU kind of field of vision, and we see the Westview sign from the outside, and then Geraldine gets thrown out with the little red cloud that is indicative of Wanda, and then all these army guys come and they have the spotlights on her, and we bust into song Daydream Believer, and we get to see all these lights around this little field, which is indicating where Westview is and what is actually happening in the show.
Yeah, that I think kind of confirms for me that something, either Wanda created that bubble and it probably expanded, and maybe Sword came in and stopped it with that barrier. Like, maybe those aren't just lights, but they're actually a barrier stopping it from growing outside
it seems like a
town.
Force field type of thing, yeah.
So that's what I think happened. I think they found out that Wanda was having this breakdown and pretty much creating herself as a weapon in a way, and was like, oh, we got to stop this. So they came in and, you know, kind of did what they could. And that's why we're hearing that voice, you know, come in. It's like, hey, Wanda, who's doing this to you? And that's the intrigue. Like, is she doing this to her? Is she also being manipulated by outside forces that we don't know at the same time?
Because I don't think Sword is doing anything. At least in her MCU version, she was manipulated by Ultron pretty easy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She's got a thing for robots, dude.
She really does. Kind of weird, huh?
Yeah, hey man.
Hey, some women
people
are,
have their
huh?
things, man. I don't,
You know what
I
you
don't
like.
judge. I don't judge. Hey, yeah,
They're
exactly.
much better than the real deal. Why not? Anyway.
But yeah, that part was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty neat. But because it is taking us away from that, the formulaic whatever she's got going on in her head or in her bubble or force field or whatever she's got. So it's nice to be able to step outside of all of that and see the outside a bit. I don't know. It's pretty neat. And the way that you actually explained it was that she could be just in the middle of this big force field and she's creating this bubble to where I don't know. I think that that's so fascinating. And that actually now gets me more excited for episode 4. But
Only to be let down again.
Well,
no,
no,
exactly. That's the thing. Yeah, when we recorded last week, I got so excited to see this 3rd episode because I'm like, yes, we're gonna start seeing some of the stuff that Prog's talking about, and this is gonna be rad.
Like, not yet, apparently. Sorry.
Not yet.
No.
Yeah, the only qualification with
yeah.
this whole aspect, like I saw it happen, I'm like, there's still time left in this episode, right? No, it came to an end. And my only like real big problem is that not only was the episode formulaic and that the intrigue was left to the end, I'm watching, I'm like, this is like showrunner's wet dream for the past, and it's going to fit exactly what Prog said of the overarching storyline, that she's going to bring kids in this dream bubble, and then it's tied to the overall MCU, and it's going to create the multiverse, and they're going to give us maybe 10 minutes total of this overarching storyline through this entire 9-episode run. And I was so disappointed and discouraged when I finished watching that episode that it did cloud anything else that came previously to it. Like, I know exactly where all 9 episodes are going to go, and I'm bored.
I mean, hopefully not. I mean, hopefully they break them all the next episode. It seems like they might, because I did see like some teasers. So hopefully they do. Hopefully they're like, all right, that's enough. Let's break out of this. And maybe
I
it'll
still
be
think
chaotic.
the way this episode ends, especially with the letterbox transition, and it shows more kind of imagery that we're familiar with Marvel, they should have released these 3 episodes at the start. If 4 is more of a departure, these 3 should have been packaged together where you get we're doing 50s, 60s, 70s. There's a little bit at the start. And then, now we see what's actually going on. This is all inside Wanda's head. There's a force field. There's people watching them. Everything makes sense.
Yeah, if this were a like actual comic book series, like in the comics, they probably would have done it like that way. Like the first few pages were just that, like that little show thing, and then the rest of it would have been this whole overarching, mystery, and showed you what that was. Yeah, it would be that way. So I'm hoping that they do that. We shall see.
I think
so
4 is going to be some 80s sitcom. And it's gonna
I mean, you're still going to get those sitcoms, but I am hoping, to your points, is that it's not just tacked on at the end. I really hope that something happens earlier on in the episode that kind of breaks up the narrative. Because for me, like, I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't want to keep sitting through 20 minutes of nostalgia, which is fun. I enjoy that, but it's not really like what I want out of this show initially.
Especially because you can break the narrative and just have Wanda rewind time. So as a creator, you can manipulate time and the progress of the show however you wanted to, because you have a character that can. It fits right in with her abilities.
Right. She can cut whole scenes out, do all sorts of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
She just might. I do have some other notes, unless you guys have other stuff you want to say.
No. So we covered the whole episode. There's intrigue at the end, and we're hoping that 4 is
and if you are watching the show, don't expect that this is going to be like a Marvel thing where there's going to be stuff after the credits or anything like that, because it's almost like 10 minutes of credits for this.
Because now they're crediting all the people who do the voice work in different languages.
Yeah,
it's relatively recent. It's a good addition.
No, it's great, but you've got this episode was technically it said 32 minutes, but then you add in the 10 minutes for credits. Yeah. So it's at the end of the day. Now imagine our 22-minute episode that now you've got all those credits, so you actually watch 15 minutes of TV. So it kind of sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, I guess
I'm
I didn't watch the credits. So I have no idea how long they were.
Well, because
Yeah.
if you're used to watching Marvel, you're used to seeing in credit scene. Like
Oh,
either
yeah, I knew that wasn't going to happen with this show. So I just
Episode
don't
9,
pay attention.
maybe.
Yeah, maybe at the last one, but not
to
for the
set up
visual one.
next season.
If
This
there
might be
is
a
a next
limited series,
season.
yeah.
God,
Yeah, I
hope
don't know
this
if that's
is
going to happen.
I hope this is it.
I hope
we need to
this
just
is it,
clip
God.
this. That was a great quote.
I hope this is it. All right, so the only I have a big overarching kind of note that I'm going to talk about, but before that, one little thing that was said that I thought was kind of funny is that the Doctor is going to go to Bermuda. Now, Bermuda is famous for the Bermuda Triangle. Everything goes missing, kind of like this little town. I don't know. I thought that was kind of fun when he said that. All right, so here we go. The stork. The stork, you said, was kind of annoying. It kept flapping all over the place and whatever. The stork, in my opinion, might be, if my theory is correct, very important.
I thought
the reason why
stork was cute.
I thought it was fun. But I don't think he was there just to be fun. I don't think he was there just to be that clever homage to 70s shows and stuff. I think that stork is somebody.
I think it lends itself to that just because
definitely
magic didn't do anything to it. That they did that on purpose. Yeah.
Well, they did it on purpose because I do think this is a person. I think I know who this is. And they keep.
Is it a Stark? No, that would be funny.
That'd be
fun. Stark.
What? Tony Stark has come back to life as a stork. And
Tony Stark, we need you.
Is that a stork?
It's a pterodactyl stork.
That was definitely a pterodactyl.
Remember, it was like. That's how the stork. Like an ice machine, you know.
Oh, I hope people made it this far into this episode.
Yeah, they have, but if they have, God bless them.
Yeah, right.
Anyways, so yes, he is. I think the stork is very important. She could not disperse the stork, right? She's powerful. This is her reality. She should be able to. It's interesting that she wasn't able to. When she does this, it goes up in a big red poof of smoke, just like the Wizard of Oz. It is a red poof of smoke specifically, which I think is very important.
Well, I thought that was her poof of smoke of poof. What am I trying to say? I thought that was her making that smoke. I thought it was her trying to
make her red smoke.
I mean, yes, it's her, but there's a reason why. I think there's a reason why it is the color red, and I think there's a reason why it didn't get rid of the stork. I think that the stork is representing somebody who is trying to have her have these twins. And I think this person might be the one kind of controlling a lot of the stuff that might be going on here in her mind.
Oh, that's your Wizard of Oz thing? That there's somebody behind the curtain?
Oh, no, that was a great connection, actually.
Oh.
Uh-oh. Sit back and just enjoy this moment.
Here, wait a second. Let me be like Wanda. Let's rewind the tape and pretend like I came up with the idea, because that's brilliant.
Yep.
So, yes, so there's just like Wizard of Oz, there's somebody behind the curtain. That was great.
Did you just mean the smoke like the Wicked Witch?
Yes, that's all I meant. The smoke was just like the Wicked Witch when she, poofs away. I thought that was kind of a funny little homage to that. But so she wasn't able to do that. The smoke is red, and when she has her baby, the fireplace ignites with fire. And one of the characters, I think it was Agnes, during last episode, she says, "The devil is in the details." Wink. The devil is in the details. Fire in the fireplace and the red smoke leads me to believe that this might be Mephisto, who is the devil in the comics. So
Jake Gyllenhaal?
No,
that's Mysterio or something like that. Sorry.
Don't know why he'd be playing two different people in the same universe, but sure.
You said Mephisto, and I'm thinking Spider-Man.
Yeah. Anyways, my theory is that it's Mephisto. I think that it is possible that Wanda made a deal with the devil to bring her husband back to life.
What?
All this might be. because she couldn't get rid of him. She's the only person she couldn't do anything to. I thought that was very interesting. And on Geraldine's leggings, she had fish that looked just like the Jesus fish from the 70s. And the devil, aka the stork, kept trying to bite the fish and eat the fish.
Mm-hmm.
And saying there's a lot of little details that lead me to believe that theory might be true.
Wow. And that.
So
I mean,
when
spoilers.
does
I feel bad if that is the case because I think it is. Yeah.
but no, when does
think-
Mephisto show up in the comics?
Oh, a
Like,
long
is he
time
in
ago.
House of M, or like not like all the time? But I mean, is there a key comic storyline where Wanda does make a deal with Mephisto and brings Vision back? Oh,
Yeah, I just
well, that's
said I
not
didn't.
storytelling at all. Come on, MCU is better than just like
know.
Ant-Man didn't go into Thanos' ear and come out of his back end.
Right. Yeah, I kind of wish they did do it that way because then it's like the only people who kind of are in on it are the people that know the comics. So it's like, I don't know. I think it would have been more fun if they had like given up that part of the story earlier, so you kind of would have known. Then it would have been more fun to see that, play out. Because then like people are like, I don't understand why the stork's here. Is he just funny or is it supposed to be something else? And I do think it is supposed to be something else, and I think it is
on the
significant.
flip side of that, can you bring Vision back?
Technically, I guess so, because his body is in Wakanda, and they could.
No, I mean, he doesn't necessarily. Wouldn't he just be rebooted? He's not necessarily his soul goes to hell.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I
But
mean,
does he
probably-
even
He's
have
made
a
of the
soul?
Mind Stone, not the Soul Stone.
Yeah, but I think the Mind Stone is what gave him his whole personality. So I don't think he would be the same Vision as before. It wouldn't be the Paul Bettany version of Vision. It would be probably some other shell of himself, most likely, would be my guess.
Well, I
don't
thought
know.
he got his personality from
Jarvis.
Tony Stark.
Yeah, I thought his personality was
Where-
Jarvis based.
Yeah, Jarvis base, yes. Paul Bettany, Jarvis, yeah.
Yeah, the
I just
Mind
meant the
Stone's brought it to life. I don't know if it. I don't know. It's weird when you're talking about. See, that's the whole of, like, I think therefore I am type of discussion on. If you bring in the devil and souls tied to an android, that's a whole different enigma that this show
Yeah.
certainly is not going to have time to cover. That's like
No,
some big
it's not going
metaphysical,
to.
philosophical stuff.
Yeah. But anyways, the whole idea is that Mephisto would really want these twins to be born because they could become very useful to him as they were in the comics. So it would make sense that the stork would be him and that he would be there that day to make these two beings come to be.
Mhm.
So, and yeah, and then to your point earlier, Trevor, at the beginning of the episode, you said, are these, this might have been off the air, are these two twins, are they important to the MCU? Are they important to anybody? And in the comic books, yes, her twins are important. They become like actual like MCU characters that go on to become the Young Avengers, which you can tell they're setting up because every movie coming out has a Young Avenger in each title. They're all going to come together eventually and form the Young Avengers, is my guess for the next phase of the MCU.
Now,
So.
did they stick with the names Tommy and?
Yes. Oh, as soon as they said the two names, I'm like, oh, it's confirmed. Okay. There
So
you go.
when I hear those two names, what was it? Tommy
Power
and what was the other
Rangers.
one? I thought of the Power Rangers.
Tommy and Billy. Yeah.
Tommy and
It's
Billy.
the Blue Ranger. Yeah.
the
And
White
Green
Ranger.
Ranger. Yeah.
Well, nice. Well, they got that from this. So there you go.
No, Power Rangers are cool.
So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're not going to just have it be a throwaway thing where they're only twins for this fake reality. I think they are going to eventually after the show become part of the MCU and go
Are
on
they
to
going to
become the
develop as
Avengers.
fast as they did in her womb?
Yeah, because the
Yes.
next episode's going to be the 80s, so they're going to be teenagers, probably teenagers with attitude, if you ask me.
Exactly. Yes.
Power
Well,
Rangers.
Teenager Groot was so good. Maybe they'll do some fun stuff like that.
I hope not. Because that was not my favorite version of Groot. That's for sure.
No.
No, not at all. I don't think it was anybody's favorite.
Not really. So there's some spoilers for people because I'm pretty sure that's where they're going to go with this storyline. Yeah.
Interesting, because I thought the future of the MCU was more Secret Wars.
No, I think that's it. I thought it was going to be at first too, but then they announced it's going to be a TV show, and I thought, oh, okay, I guess it's just going to be a TV show. Oh, all right.
But wouldn't
So-
you want it to be more of a grand spectacular? Something as big as that, not so much just a TV show?
Yeah, I'm surprised they went with the TV show route with Secret Wars. So,
Yeah.
which is fine. I mean,
Secret Wars is bigger than Young Avengers.
I don't know. We'll see.
That's true. You don't know, but thank you.
Well, I mean, Prague, though, to your point, I don't know what the Avengers are going to do because Captain Marvel is not a leader.